fear, trepidation, uncertainty, instability. We look around the world today and in our lives, and I think our confession might be the same. I just need a little bit more peace in my life. We all want it so badly, don't we? We need it. If we could only just relax and breathe and just be for a little while, then everything would be okay. If we could just go one day without being busy, without all these countless demands being placed on us, without health struggles, without the threat of violence and war around the world, without political turmoil, without grief, if we could just go a day without all this pushing in on our lives, we'd be okay, wouldn't we? We just have to have some peace in our lives. That's what we want. Can you imagine what it was like then when Mary was first told that she would have a child? Think about it. Here she is. She's this teenage girl. She's a young girl in this patriarchal society, and she's not yet married, and she finds out she's going to have a baby. That's bad news. Not just bad news. That's life-ending news right there. She could technically be stoned for that. And even if not, she might never get married. Joseph may say, I'm not going to do this. Because, let's be honest, in that society, anything could happen to her. And then if she didn't get married to Joseph, she may never get married at all. She would have that taint against her life forever. She may never find a place in society, might always be looked down upon by her community. And back then, community, that's your chance for survival. You need the community. So here's this young woman, if we can call her a woman, this young girl, with this news, this life-altering news. What is she to do? Well, she doesn't go the route that I think I would have gone. Somehow her bravery, her sense of faithfulness, knowing all the potential dangers that awaited, she embraced this call. Perhaps with some fear and trembling involved, absolutely. But she did it with a resolve that only few would have. You might say she found peace in the middle of chaos. And this peace had nothing to do with knowing what the outcome would be. Rather, it had everything to do with who God is and what God is doing. The peace we are looking for in our lives is not simply freedom from worry and conflict and busyness or all those pressures of the world. I mean, yeah, those are big. We long for those things too to abate. But instead, I think the peace that our hearts desire is something more than that. It's a fullness or a wholeness of life, I should say. This wholeness of life, this encompasses a sense of meaning and purpose in life, not just abating all those other things, but tying into our core identity. Who are we? Why are we here? In ancient Hebrew, there's a word for this, and it's one you've heard before, but maybe you haven't thought about in some time. And the word is simple, it's shalom. We translate it simply as peace in the English language, but shalom really encompasses a completeness or a wholeness of life, a fullness of life. I mean, we can find temporary balms for our struggles and worries and worldly problems, but in the end, that kind of peace will always be fleeting, and it will not last, whatever solutions we find. Because in our hearts, we're looking for more than that. Mary finds this shalom. She finds it in God and in God's promise for her unborn baby. God born into the world will open hearts and minds to the fullness of life that God has for each and every one of us, individually and together. This love will reveal to the world the heart of God. Grace unveils the true nature of who we are as humanity. Grace saturates our lives with hope for today and tomorrow. Grace brings us unspeakable joy, for we are people loved, forgiven, promised resurrection and life. Grace brings us shalom, peace, wholeness. For in grace we discover we are children of God, called, chosen, loved unconditionally, and no matter what our circumstances might be, that love can never be taken away from us. So, my friends, shalom. May God's peace fill you this Advent season, melting away your worries and fears and anxieties, reminding you of the hope that has been given to you and to all of creation.